Welcome to another episode of Real Life Fishing. In this episode, I'm going to try something I've never done before and make a video of what I'm doing on my computer using some recording software. But we're going to talk about Autochart Pro, which is the reason why I've got to do that. So on the screen right here, this is the contents of a Zero Lines card. So when you record your sonar, this is the folder that it's going to be put into record. So copy the files out of there, copy them onto your computer, and then open up Autochart or Autochart Pro, and we're going to import. And the two files that I recorded today are these bottom two here, 140 and 141. Sorry, that's kind of outside the field of view here. There we go, there's the whole window. So just those two, and then open those up. And then we'll get a little message when it's done. There we go. And so now we right click and say map here. Right. Now you want to try and remember where you drove the boat for your recordings. Right. You can obviously see there's a lot of recordings in here. So why is it so important that you remember where you drove the boat? I'll show you. We are going to step through these recordings, the sonar data that I took, to make sure that I don't have any garbage in there. Right, so this I know I drove today, right? So I'm just going to right click on one of those, trace data, open file, and then this is everywhere that I drove the boat for that particular recording. I stopped it partway through here and started it again. You know, I don't like to have just one gigantic, recording file, because if the file gets corrupted, then the whole file is garbage, right? Whereas if I stop the file partway through, then if one of them is corrupted, I still get the rest of the data, right? It's less work I've got to redo again later. Really is all it comes down to. So I drove around this thing like mad because for whatever reason, Autochart just did not want to give me the correct depth on this. So I drove around it quite a bit. But so we've got our sonar chart, our sonar recording open. What's the first thing that we want to do with it, right? First thing we want to do is we want to throw away all the zero depth points, right? Because no matter how good all of our graphs are and how much we spend on them and how fancy they are, every once in a while they record garbage, which is why we're looking at this, to make sure we don't put garbage into our map. Remember, it's a computer, garbage in, garbage out. So we're going to remove all the zero depth data. Okay. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go Tools, Extreme Max Value. And that will take me to the deepest, 69 feet. That is not 69 feet. I know that's not 69 feet. We were fishing on shore. So I'm just going to press the delete key on my keyboard, and that's gone. But you see that other dark blue one in there? So you can use the left and right arrows to kind of step through, right? This is nearby. That 44 is garbage. That 65 is garbage. That 65 is garbage. 68 is garbage. There we go. Right. So those were pretty easy because, they were right there and you could kind of see them. The problem with some of them, though, is if you spend a lot of time in an area, you might get one bad reading that's hidden by what appears to be a good reading on top of it. Like here, look at this dark blue. You can barely see that. So you can just double click anywhere in the stream and it'll jump you to that spot, right? So see if I can get back there. Boy, I got it so perfect the first time, didn't I? There it is, 65 feet. No, it's not. Go on. Okay, but so I'm going to go back to Tools, Max Depth again, or Max Value. See where it takes me this time. It found another one at 67. Right? See, there you go. That's perfect. You can't see that, right? But it's 67. So you can press the trash button to delete that, or use the delete key on your keyboard. I normally use the delete key, but I'll use that so you guys can see what I'm doing. So go to Extreme Max again. It's thinking about it. Okay, so now it went to 23 feet. So this 23.3 feet is the deepest part, the deepest point that was recorded while I was out mapping. And I believe that, right? So there's no more extreme max depth in here. And the extreme min depth is usually pretty useless for me, because I do fish up by the shore quite a bit, right? So I don't want any zero data. But I might have some stuff where it records, you know, 1.5 feet, and that's legit, right? It is. So normally what I'll do though is I just kind of follow the trail with my eyes and make sure that all the color changes are kind of gradual, right? And make sure that there's no red, you know, or dark red that shows up in there, right? That happens every once in a while when you roll over. I actually have rolled over a few schools of bait fish that were large enough to be recorded as being bottom. Or sometimes it'll happen also when you roll over like a big chunk of algae or floating weed or some, you know, like a grass mat, some crap, that'll get recorded as bottom as well. So you see here I drove back and forth like this across the lake, and I tried to get up as near shore as I could with a lot of these passes. Obviously the shoreline on this isn't quite 100% correct because I was not on shore there, but in any event, you know, you really want to work back and forth in a grid, and then ideally, you know, you would go back and forth across this in kind of a checkerboard pattern. Some of that sort of north-south I already had, so I just did some east-west on there to pick that up. And then, like I said, I drove over this a lot because there's a hump here, and I want that to show correctly on my map, right? I know that this records, I've seen 4.9 foot while I was on the lake, but my last map only showed like I think 7 foot or 6'9", something like that. So I figure having more data, I'll get a better map out of it, right? Remember we talked about in the one video there where you know, Autochart tries to guess at what's between stuff, right? Like right here, between here, there could be a huge bar, right? Or, you know, some, I don't know, there could be a boulder, whatever. But I didn't roll over it, so Autochart is going to guess at what's between there, and we'll see if it even actually fills that in. Those might be a little too far apart. We'll see. But so this recording data I'm satisfied with, right? So I'm going to save that. And remember now, I stopped and restarted this down here, so we'll see more east-west. I'm going to open that file next. So we'll close that file, right? So here's the next one down here then. So I'm going to zoom in here and right-click and trace data, open file. And so there you go. You can see that's where I picked this one back up. Oh, look at that garbage right there. That's nasty, right? Yeah, here, what do we got? Oh, 0. Yep. So first thing we're going to do, get rid of 0 data, right? 0 data is all gone now, right? But I know that this is shallow. I remember driving through that, right? So these deep, yeah, 119 foot. No. That's garbage. So we're going to get rid of that. And then we're going to get rid of this 14 foot. There you go. The rest of this then, I believe. So we're missing a tiny little piece in the shore right here. That's okay. But, so I still want to see if I've got any other garbage depth. So go to extreme max value. It found 150 feet. Where did it find that? Down here. That is obviously not correct. Yep, so delete that. 88, delete that. 59, delete that. There we go, I'll buy that. 5.6, yep, I remember that. Okay, and that's another reason too why you really want to, you really want to try and do your sonar as soon as you come home and get off the lake, because you want to remember sort of where you were and what that looks like, right? Because sometimes you'll be running through a weed bed, and it'll be 8 feet all the way across, and then all of a sudden you'll get into a weed bed, and the weeds will be so thick that it'll start recording the weeds as the bottom, right? You don't want that in your map, so you want to remember that was a weed bed that you're getting false data from, and you want to delete those shallow spots, so you don't end up with a big hump in your map. So we found 60 feet. Where's that? Okay, so that 60 feet's got to go. So take a look for the next one. 21. I believe that. Let's see where it is first, though. There it is. I believe that. Yep. Sure. 21. No problem. All right, so we'll just take a quick peek at some of these other areas to make sure that Yeah, this looks pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and save this, and then I'm going to close that. So now you'll notice though that the blue stuff and that's all still in there, right? So what I'm going to do is, you see when you drag the map around, you get that green X across the middle, right? I just put that kind of in the middle. I'm going to go up to the top and I'm going to go Map, Recenter, and then that moved that red box. But more importantly, what it did is it reloaded all those files, right? So that blue and red that I had over here that I deleted, see, it's gone now, right? So we'll zoom back out. So this is what that lake looks like. So we've got a lot more data now. So I'm just going to go up here and I'm going to click this, Create Map, and we'll see what we get. Generating map down here in the corner. Nice. All right. So let's see what that hump shows now. What does this show? 5.9. I know it's shallower than that. Well, it's as good as it's going to get, I suppose. But yeah, there's a couple of humps over here and hump over here. But yeah, I'm getting it done. So all this down here, the vast majority of the bottom piece of this is all new mapping done today. I couldn't get this because there was a pontoon boat that was anchored there with some people swimming, and there was another pontoon anchored in here. But so we got most of all the bottom portion of the lake done, and then this whole western chunk, and then this top eastern piece here, and we got up a little tighter on this island. We still got to get all the way around it. There's a shallow marker buoy up in here, so but there was pontoons and all kinds of stuff. You know, today's July 3rd, right? Everybody's out partying. There was pontoons stuck in here with people swimming and all kind of crap. But we'll run through this, you know, a little tighter on the trolling motor is what I usually do, rather than running the big motor through there. But yeah, so there's the map of this lake. So this is all data that I've recorded. So you guys see how to do that now, right? So we've still got the zero lines card in there. So I want to put this data on my zero lines card. I just click this button right here, Lake Master Update. And there it is. You see Lake Master Update, adding new content to my custom Lake Master map. Autochart layer. Look at that. And then when this is finished, we can actually look at that like it would look on the graph. I'll show you. Takes a few minutes, unfortunately, for this to... there we go. Always gets stuck right there and then, you know, seems to go forward. There we go. Okay, so it says, would you like to change the background map display to the custom Lake Master map? So the map we just made. Okay. So that's the background display. So now I'm going to come over here and grab this slider, take off all that color, and there we go. That's the map that's going to be on my graph, available for me to use like that. And of course, you know, you can choose whatever color palette you want and do your depth highlight and so forth. Over here's a shallow marker buoy, and then right here is another shallow marker buoy. There's a rock pile. This kind of edge right here. That's, yeah, we haven't driven up in there too tight because of the rocks, but yeah, good times. Yeah, so not much more of this lake left to map. I'm pretty happy about that. We've only been trying to get this body water done for, I don't know, 2 years now, I suppose. But you know, slowly but surely, every time we go out fishing, we do that. We did not end up going muskie fishing today either. For those of you wondering if there's any pictures of fish, the wind was just perfectly flat. The water was glass flat, so, and it was really, really hot. So rather than killing ourselves throwing heavy baits and you know, no wind, we opted to go crappie fishing with our light little lures. You know, that favors less wind. So brought home enough, cleaning those for dinner. So good times. All right, well, that's all for this episode. Make sure you hit the like button that's or the subscribe button that's going to be down here in the bottom right. And hope you guys enjoyed. See you next time.